Hi, I'm John Catch and you are watching The Cold Hard Truth. The news you will not get anywhere else. Tonight Minister Jordan of Fisheries and Oceans Canada appeared before the Fisheries Standing Committee to speak on the moderate livelihood issue. Minister Jordan seems to have some difficulties answering questions. She appeared to be reluctant to deviate from a set of scripted replies which she seemed to have been well coached on. Regardless, I did pick up on a few contradictions. Let's dive in. The minister has repeatedly stated that conservation is her first priority, and that should be sufficient to calm the nerves of the largest stakeholders involved, the commercial fishers. Fishers need to ask, who or what is her second priority? Is it the commercial industry, the lifeblood of rural Nova Scotia? Or is it perhaps the First Nations? This was not explicitly clear. She did say repeatedly that this is about reconciliation and implementing a treaty right. That is her priority. Second, I guess, to conservation. The minister also made it very clear that the First Nations will define the treaty right, community by community, through a conciliation process. Commercial fishers will not be part of the process. These negotiations are nation to nation, as she stated many times. Has the minister forgotten that fishermen are part of her nation? Do fishers not have any rights to be protected? Are fishers expected to blindly trust that their concerns are being considered fairly? Based on this hearing, fishers should be happy that conservation is priority number one. Will the minister then explain how much of the commercial fishery will be given to the First Nations in the name of reconciliation? Is the minister prepared and authorized to compensate fishers for their loss? Reconciliation is the burden of all Canadians, not just commercial fishers. Does the minister understand this concept? As I listened to the hearing, it became clear that the only concern the minister seems to grasp from commercial fishers is that of conservation. She is oblivious to all else. As a result, fishers' concerns outside of conservation are apparently not ranking on any list of priorities. Another subject of interest was the management of a moderate livelihood fishery. There appears to be a concerted effort to have two management systems, one commercial, one moderate livelihood. The minister said that the Marshall decision was clear. The management of the right falls to the Minister of Fisheries. When challenged with support for dual management from academia and legal opinion, she seems to back down from her stand. The minister was also reluctant to outright dismiss the idea of multiple seasons, one for the commercial fishers and one for moderate livelihood fishers. Two sets of rules, two management regimes, two different seasons. Is DFO prepared to create a race-based fishery and defend that race-based fishery in a constitutional challenge? It should be noted that the example of St. Peter's Bay was used to question an independent management regime. First Nations have exceeded their own proposed harvest levels and continue to fish. Does this suggest that they need oversight by the Minister of Fisheries? Later in the hearing, the minister was questioned again on the same issue. She did not want to answer the question regarding two authorities for the lobster fishery. She did, however, suggest that there may be opportunity for communities to provide science and guardians. Guardians? What the hell is a guardian? Is this a First Nations conservation officer? Will there be two enforcement bodies? Two jurisdictions? There was an interesting segment on conservation and protection. The minister said that she does not direct conservation and protection. I wonder why conservation and protection officers have made the opposite claim. Both cannot be right. The minister also said that officers have been removing traps when there has been conservation concerns. She also said that officers are there to do a job, uphold the laws. What laws? If they were upholding the laws, they would remove all out-of-season traps, but she said clearly that only traps presenting a conservation concern were removed. Did conservation and protection officers unilaterally decide to enforce unwritten conservation-based rules instead of the actual laws? Or did they receive this directive from the minister's office? That sums it all up. Commercial fishers should be at ease. Conservation is the minister's first priority. We don't know what, if any, of the fishery will remain intact for the commercial fleet, but it will at least be protected by conservation policy for whoever gets the luxury to fish when the dust settles. Does the minister intend to consult fishers? If the minister fails to consult, is the department prepared to defend their actions in a judicial review? Once again, we all must recognize that reconciliation is the burden of all Canadians. It is not the burden of commercial fishers to bear for all Canadians. No matter how this unfolds, commercial fishers will lose some portion of the commercial industry. How will this loss be compensated? What will the loss look like? Commercial fishers are the backbone of rural communities in Atlantic Canada. They deserve to be properly consulted. Their communities deserve to be properly consulted just as the leaders of the First Nations are consulting with their communities. Will the minister do the right thing? Will the minister consult commercial fishermen? Will a delegation of commercial fishers be present in these nation-to-nation negotiations? I guess we will have to watch for updates. Till next time, I'm John Catch. This was today's dose of the cold hard truth. Good night, everyone.